Hey, it's Kelsey and welcome back to this new episode of The Daily Kelsey Show. Today we're gonna do a little bit of Q&A and go over some questions that I've gotten recently on Instagram. So if you're ready, let's dive in. I get this question just about every day, probably multiple times a day, and it is how to get six-pack abs. Now, this is a really common question because it's a goal for a lot of people. And honestly, it comes down to a few very simple things. The first thing that you need to be thinking about is consistency with quality nutrition. I think that sometimes people think that they have to do a bunch of different oblique exercises or only focusing on those direct ab exercises when sure, it's important to focus on building the muscle and building the strength. Direct ab exercises are great because they can help you be able to build muscle and build strength, but nutrition is what's really gonna help you be able to see them. So focusing on whole nutrient-dense foods the majority of the time is a really great way to just be nourished well and then also be able to work towards your goals. What is your absolute favorite go-to upper body move? Okay, I'm gonna give you two because they're both very important. The first one is pull-ups, and I will tell you that because it was something that I never thought I would be able to do. And it was something that I was very intimidated by because they are hard. But it was something that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna work on this and I'm gonna be able to do it. So eventually, after working on it consistently for months, I was finally able to do pull-ups.
It is, get it. Straight, strict.
And so it's one of those things for me where it's like, it's awesome because it's a super powerful exercise to build your back, your arms, your shoulders, all those things. But it's also one of those really empowering movements because it is so challenging. So my first answer is gonna be pull-ups. And then the second one is push-ups. These are two classics that I think that sometimes people are trying to do all these super fancy moves, which are really fun and entertaining, but stripping it back to the basics is a really great way to be able to build strength. So pull-ups and push-ups, definitely go-tos. Who is your favorite NBA player of all time? This is so hard because there are so many amazing players for different reasons, but I've been watching The Last Dance.
We want to keep this excellence going.
Unbelievable, done it again.
The Michael Jordan and Bulls miniseries, and it's been so fun to just remember back to those times in childhood. I lived in Chicago for a little while during that time, so it was really cool to be able to watch that. And Michael Jordan is just an incredible player, so while there are so many great players, I'm gonna go with him. Do you feel you've been able to maintain your fitness level and quench your thirst for a challenge? This is an interesting question because I was a very competitive person growing up in the sense that I was very competitive with myself. And even on team sports too, of course, I always wanted to win, but I was always the kind of person that I just really loved to push myself. And so I did a lot of that through exercise and through sport and things like that. But now that I've gone through a lot of different things in life and been knocked down and got back up, and now I've really realized that I love to work out to feel good, and I like to challenge myself to see, if I can accomplish things and work towards certain goals, if it's, lifting heavier or doing more pull-ups or whatever that looks like. But for me, I just like to have fun and I like to move to feel good, and for me, that feels like enough. How did you overcome your eating disorder and start building lean muscle? So the first thing that I did, I personally had to go to treatment. That was something that was really important, just medically, that I needed to do that, and mentally as well, to be able to overcome all of those behaviors and things that I had been doing. So for me, treatment was essential. And I would honestly say if you are experiencing a full-on eating disorder, go to seek professional help. That is really the best and only thing that you should be doing and thinking about. If you are the kind of person who is potentially just experiencing some disordered eating habits, maybe you aren't falling under the category of a clinical eating disorder, but just experiencing some of those thoughts and behaviors, I would still suggest going to talk to someone who is a professional and they can really help get you set up with a plan. But the first thing that you really should be thinking about is, how do I create a healthy relationship with food in my body? If you are trying to work towards aesthetic goals, if you're trying to build lean muscle and all those things at the same time as you're working on recovery and working on healing that relationship with food in your body, it's gonna be a lot more challenging, and probably detrimental. So I would suggest first focusing, don't even think about those aesthetic goals. Focus on how you can improve that relationship with food, improve your relationship with your body. And then after you work through that and feel super confident and comfortable in it, then you can make gentle adjustments to your workouts and nutrition to be able to make changes towards your goals. And honestly, it will become so much easier in the long run because you're actually going to love who you are, be nourished well, and be incredibly strong. I literally have no clue on what I should be eating. I actively do CF, which I think stands for CrossFit. So honestly, nutrition can be so confusing. There's so many differing opinions and so many different strategies out there. But one thing that I would focus on is just keep it simple. If you're trying to be able to just be a healthier person, maybe work towards certain results, but overall just be a healthy person, just focus on eating whole nutrient-dense foods the majority of the time. Just keep it simple. Instead of trying to play Tetris with your calories or whatever it is, just keep it simple. How did you get through the discouraging moments while getting started in your business? Super important question because so many people are working towards creating online businesses, are entrepreneurs starting their own thing, and that's awesome and you should definitely do it. And when you do, know that there are going to be bumps along the way. It's gonna be challenging. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and there's a reason why not everyone does. It's because it's challenging and there are gonna be things that happen. And so if you're just getting started and you feel like everything is a battle and you feel like you're potentially failing at everything you try, don't worry, it's a part of the process. The biggest thing that I would say is focus on failing fast and then pivoting. Learn from it and then change. It's really important to be able to adapt and evolve as you start learning things, and try everything. You never know what you're gonna love, but as soon as you figure out that zone of genius, those things that you do the best, focus on doing those things first, and then eventually you'll be able to find other people to fill those spots. Just don't be afraid to get started. I know that it feels scary and it feels challenging, but it's worth it. So those are all our questions today, but we're gonna do something kind of fun here. We're gonna do a giveaway of my Fit Nutrition program. And this program is really great because it talks about the mindset aspect around your nutrition. So if you're trying to improve your relationship with food in your body and then also feel informed about nutrients and how to just nourish yourself well, this is a really great program. So to be entered to win this giveaway, all you need to do is two very simple things. Just make sure you're subscribed to my channel. So make sure you click subscribe and then leave me a comment. Let me know the types of videos that you want to see, the ones that you've enjoyed the most, other kinds of videos that you'd like to see in the future. I would just love your feedback to be able to create things that you want to see. So make sure you subscribe, leave me a comment, and I will pick a winner soon. Thanks so much for joining today's video. I had a ton of fun answering your questions, and again, feel free to reach out with any other questions that you might have. So thanks again for watching. I'll be back next week. We'll see you soon.